What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You have tuned in to the flyest sports and entertainment podcast in all the land. This is statlinesmatter. I'm Mark Stewart. This is my longtime partner and good friend, Rob Hunter Jr. What's going on, my boy? How are you?
Man, I am elated to be back. Elated to be back. Yes.
Yeah. So let's deal with the elephant in the room that I know you wonder and everybody's wondering that if we're going to address or not. Like, where have we been?
Man. Well, there was a thing called the coronavirus.
Yes.
That slowed us down for a good little while, and I'm happy to see it because I had the coronavirus.
I had it too. I had it early. I had it early when it was more of a plague and people just dying.
Yeah, you had it before. You had it before. People were like, oh, you got the coronavirus.
I was like the ninth person with it.
Yeah, so you were scared.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm out.
Yeah, like for real.
I'm about to die. Yeah, so just between that and I know that we had some loved ones that were susceptible. So we had to really be more cognizant of that part. Even though we made it through, we wanted to, and then with the advent of the COVID shot, we wanted to make sure
it made it more comfortable,
and we could just be safe and try to get back and you had some cool things happen with your building where we were shooting.
Right,
ended up not being available anymore, so we had to do this.
Yeah, it was all positive. It's not like it got foreclosed or anything. It was like we just got a great tenant and we had to move out. So anyway, long story short, lots of things going on in the world that affected us doing this, but we're back. We're back and better than ever.
I was thinking, no, we should have probably just created a bubble like the NBA and did our show inside the bubble.
And just lived in there?
Yeah, just been in there like, hey, we on the bubble.
Can my wife come with me?
Yeah, it's a bubble, right? So you get to pick who get to come, but then after
that'd actually be cool because then like I could leave my kids outside the bubble.
I'm leaving Levi way out. But yeah, man, that's cool.
And also, I can tell you guys for sure, we here to stay. We're not going anywhere. We're gonna do this. Well, we signed a 30-year contract with our sponsor, Old English. So
shout out OE.
Shout out. No, I'm just kidding.
So we back on OE, y'all. Back like the early '90s.
No, OE is not our sponsor unless y'all gonna do it.
Unless y'all really gonna do it. Yeah. I haven't drank malt liquor in 20-something years, but I could turn it up.
I've literally never had malt liquor.
In your life?
Never.
You ain't never had Cisco?
Never.
You ain't never had no Saint Night?
Never. Not one sip.
See, I was so happy.
I've always been a little sophisticated.
See, well, okay. When you start drinking when you're 13, 14, you don't even care what it is. So
I didn't start drinking when I was 13, 14.
Why not?
Like the first time I had. Well, first of all, I grew up around a lot of white guys, so I drank beer for the first time.
I drank beer. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And they drink,
but not malt liquor. It was old style.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. I was very impressionable. So like NWA was talking about 8 Ball and they were talking about St. Ides and all that. I wanted to be like them.
You was there for it.
Yeah. So the 40s and all of that. Like I used to drink a whole 40 before I went in the club. Like. In like 3 real minutes.
So you went in there stumbling.
Eventually, yeah, because you got to hit the blood. But I did go in there having to use the bathroom though.
Wow. Well, nah, man, that's I'm excited first of all to be back here with you. We talk sports all the time, so we're very much still in our vibe and how we do what we do, but we haven't been sharing it. But we have a lot of things in store for you guys that have hung in here with us and people who've been calling, asking, where are you guys at? When are you coming back? And all of that. We're back and we're rolling and we're doing our thing. I wanted to quickly, before we get into our sports stuff, you hear about this Kanye Drake free? It's free Larry Hoover?
Yes, but not
it's
a free concert.
It's not a free concert because the tickets are hella expensive, but it's free Larry Hoover. So what do you know about this? Because I'm in the business, but I know there's a concert, but I don't know how it ties to Larry Hoover.
You're not only in the business, but you've worked with both of these guys.
Yeah, facts.
So you're not like,
yeah.
It ain't like,
I was thinking about that, but I was like,
heard of them
but that's a little misleading. I ain't really like kicked it with them, but yes, our paths have crossed.
December 9th is going down out in LA.
Yeah, at the Forum or at the Coliseum. I've seen it written both ways.
I guess we need to get some tickets and find out.
I'm a pass.
You gonna pass?
I'm gonna pass.
Some tickets.
Yeah.
Like we need to go on Ticketmaster like normal civilians.
Yeah.
And purchase some tickets.
Well, I guess all the tickets are sold out, and then now there's a secondary market where tickets are going for like $7-8 grand.
Is Ticketmaster a secondary market?
No.
Okay, so I went on Ticketmaster this morning.
Yeah.
And I could get 2 for $13.50 a piece.
So maybe Ticketmaster is in secondary now.
I don't know, but it was $2,700 for 2 tickets, second row. So when because when I saw they were going for $7,500 a piece, I said, well, let me find out. So I went on Ticketmaster to see if there were any tickets available.
Yeah,
there are. They got some way up in the nose. The cheapest
it's like
seat is like
$200.
$200.
Yeah,
and then they have I went to the most expensive seat they had available, which was a second row seat. For about $1,400 for one, so they sell them in pairs. So.
Right, of course.
So yeah, man. I mean, they out here trying to, and you know what's interesting about this thing is, Jay Prince is the mastermind behind brokering.
He was the one kind of standing with these guys.
Yeah, and it's I got to thinking about Jay Prince and him weaving. He stopped the violence between him and Pusha T, Drake and Pusha T.
Yep. Caught her into it.
And I'm just thinking to myself, I wonder, is he, I don't want to say responsible, but would Biggie and Tupac be alive if he represented one of them? Because he represented Drake, right?
Yeah.
So that's his guy. So he's able to navigate, like he found a way to make money, kind of like a mob boss, where there's more money to be made in peace than there is.
100%. He gets that. He's a smart dude, first and foremost. Shout out to him. And he has longevity in this industry in an area where longevity is difficult.
Yeah,
in hip hop,
and he's able to not get caught up in the machismo of it,
right?
All, and say, hey, let's get to this money. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I wish he would have represented Biggie or Tupac, one of them.
Yeah, or been involved some type of way. Yeah, like that. But that's what an OG's supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's that guy. The thing I didn't get, and maybe you can clear this up for me. So when they get done doing the show, is Larry Hoover gonna be free?
Okay.
Is it be like? Is the music gonna like convince the warden to let him out? Like, is it if they perform well, then like they'll be like, all right, you can go, or like that's the part I didn't get.
Well, okay. So obviously they're raising awareness, kind of like Cap was with the kneeling and the thing. So what I'm thinking I don't know, but if you're Larry Hoover, you got to be waking up in your cell a little bit more jipper these days. Like, you coming out like...
But we already know who Larry Hoover is from the Rick Ross record.
Yes, but that record didn't do him any favors. I think on Big Meech, Larry Hoover, like, hey, bro.
Calm down.
Stop all that.
Right.
I'm writing children's books now, nigga. I'm writing children's books now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be doing that. So I think I'm just saying, so now you got Kanye, who has been able to get felons out of prison,
right?
And obviously his wife, prison reform, and these things have been part of something they've been doing over the past couple years. And then you bring Drake off in that thing. I'm just saying, like, that's a lot.
But
that's a lot.
What kind of influence though? Like, are they like taking the money from the show and they gonna put it in an envelope and take it down? Like, is it for his legal defense fund? Because Drake and Kanye can write a check. Like, what are they doing the show for?
I think.
What's the show for?
I think it's kind of like, what's the show for, USA for Africa? You know what I mean? Like,
because they were giving money to Africa.
So I think they're going to be giving money.
But they can write a check.
That's true. But I think if they can write a check, yes, they can write a check. But people wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't a show that's going
I guess so.
In a way. And particularly with the beef that Drake and Kanye had with the release, the pending release of both their albums.
Right. Was that really a beef though, or was that just like gonna sell some records?
The beef had been for a few years.
I guess so.
So
well, I'm glad they working it out, and I'm glad they're gonna.
Me too.
Get on the stage and whatever. Did you see the Grammy nominations came out?
I saw some of them. I did not see like who's gonna win for Best Native American Album, but
no one did.
But I did.
No one.
For those of you that don't know, that is a category. Like,
no, respectfully, no one's checking for that.
They're not.
There's a lot of like Best Polka Album. Nobody's checking for that.
But if you voted on the Grammys, or if you ever opened it up, I was surprised. The ballot where you vote, I was surprised at all the different categories.
Yeah.
You could win a Grammy for best comedy album.
Yeah.
And so the show that the broadcast that you see, that's like a quarter of the awards that
Yeah, maybe 15-20% of the awards are televised.
I saw that Taylor Swift got nominated for what was it?
Best album. Yeah, album of the year, yeah.
Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
Which, hey, I'm out on Lil Nas X. Like anything with the devil and rocking with the devil, I don't go that way.
No, I'm not with that either. But I do have to shout out Lil Nas X because a couple of folks that I know worked on that. My cousin Coop produced vocals on that album, so he's nominated for a Grammy for that. And also my boys, shout out to Day Trip, who produced Montero, which was also nominated for Record of the Year.
So you got people that's working with Lucifer, and that's what's up. You know what I mean?
What I think he's doing is I think he's playing a game with the public. I think he's having fun.
Well, I don't want to play that game.
No. I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that game.
Prince of Darkness.
Yeah. I'm good on Satan.
Oh yeah. I'm like, hey, it's
like literally for me, it's Satan. Go ahead and get behind me.
Yes, because I think it's like rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some rattlesnakes over there.
Yeah.
I'm not going that way. Like I'm going. Oh, it's a bunch of naked girls in the jacuzzi. And I want you to come over there, but there's some rattlesnakes close to the jacuzzi.
I'm good. I'm gonna pass.
I'm not going in.
I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for that when there's no snakes.
So Bieber got nominated
for his Justice album
for the song Peaches, and he got nominated with
Giveon and Daniel Caesar.
Not best R&B song, but best R&B performance. What's the difference?
Well, technically it goes. That's to the artist. Performance is vocal performance.
But so the vocal performance, to me, is the same thing. The song performance.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's the same, but the origin of the Grammys is like a technical thing. So it's vocal performance, it's best record, which is a producer engineer award along with the artist, and then song is a song award. So they kind of break it down.
You think black folk gonna be mad if Bieber win that thing?
Absolutely. I mean, listen. We could have a whole other show.
I love Bieber, by the way. I rock Bieber all day in my
I was gonna say, are you guys in on the Justice album? I think that's what was nominated.
Justice, whatever the newest album is, we play that a lot. I mean, I have a 6-year-old who demands that album gets played when we in the car.
Yeah,
no problem. He loves every Bieber. He liked the Christmas song that Bieber. I guess he did a bunch of them, but
yeah, we did that.
Anything that
he be rocking our stuff.
Yes. But yes, we played pretty much that whole album through from the beginning, where it's the Martin Luther King,
right?
And then all the way in. Remember, I actually texted you a couple records earlier in the summer.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this whole thing fire, bro.
Yeah, no, you've been on it on the Bieber thing. Also, I want to just quickly here, I want to shout out to producer D-Mile. Man, D-Mile is nominated twice in the Record of the Year category for. He's for Fight for You, the Her track, and then he's also producer and co-writer on Leave the Door Open with Bruno and Anderson .Paak. So D-Mile, one of the nicest guys in the game. Shout out to you, man. You deserve all of this, all that love.
I have an admission. So as I was prepping for the show, there's a song called Freedom that is nominated for Record of the Year by somebody named John Baptiste.
Yeah.
I ain't never heard of him or that song. So I played a little bit. I was like, maybe I know the song, but I ain't know the name of it. I don't know nothing about that song.
I know I should know John Baptiste, but I had to look him up as well. So much so that we're not even gonna talk about it.
But Record of the Year, and I don't know nothing.
Yeah, it's just one of them things, man, that be happening.
And okay, so for those of you that may share this in common with us, this is a black artist. Song has an R&B feel to it. Record of the Year, but no R&B nomination.
Yeah, the thing that I know that he did do,
but Bieber got one.
Well, I think this guy did the music for that animated film with the jazz that came on during with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, Soul. Yeah,
So I think that's where I knew him from, but I had no idea it kind of grew to what it grew to. But anyway, man, the Grammys is great. So shout out to all my friends, Jeff Robinson, who manages her. He's done an amazing job with her. But shout out to him. So I have friends that out here doing
in
their
high
thing.
places because he's a high placer.
I'm not in high places, but I will say I know these guys, and I wanted to give them a little bit of shout out.
I can't see your sweater. That's a high place sweater.
Fair enough. So let's talk some sports.
Let's talk some sports then.
You know, we wouldn't be Stat Lines Matter if we didn't kick off with we got to talk about LeCovid. LeBron done got LeCovid, so for the next 10 days, we're going to call him LeCovid.
Well, unless they say you get 2 negative tests within 24 hours, right?
I thought that's what it was too, but then somebody said it was like a minimum of 10 days, so I don't really know exactly.
I saw that in the same paragraph.
Right.
So since I'm a LeBron fan, I just went for well, maybe he could get.
Yeah, he might be back tonight.
Yeah, he got, and you know, he's obviously vaccinated. I don't know if he got the booster shot.
Right.
You know, he had said, I was skeptical, but went ahead and got the vaccination. So he is out, presumably for the next 10 days. The Lakers won last night.
Yeah, they did. His first blowout of the season.
First blowout of the season, and it was due to what the adjustment, well, not the adjustment, but the way they played when they won the championship 2 years ago, which was defensively.
Yeah.
They turned it way up.
Yeah.
They outscored the Kings
like
67 to 33 in the second half.
Yeah.
And any team does that, they're going to win.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the question is, can they sustain that?
Yeah, they are 7-4 with LeBron, and I believe they are 5-6 without him.
Something like that. I think they're 12-11 overall.
Yeah, 12-11 overall, including last night. And the interesting thing about the West and the playoff, there are 5 teams that are separated by 1 game from, I believe, 4 through.
It's like 4 through 8. Yeah.
And then the team that's in the 9th seed is also separated by 1 game, but they're just 1 game to the negative.
Right.
But all the other teams essentially have the same record.
Yeah.
Just given maybe one team has played more games than the other.
Right.
But it's still a 1 game differential between all in that logjam, and it's still early. So the good thing is it's still early. The bad thing is that even though they won, they still have to develop that chemistry between the 3 of them. So even though they won, you bring him back in, obviously the centerpiece of that, of that 5, and you still have to figure out something, a way to play, things that you guys do. Oh, I know he's going to be on this rotation, because defense in particular is all about communication.
Right.
Well, you don't have to communicate as much when you have chemistry.
Right.
I already know he's going to be there.
Right.
I already know he's going to be. So then that's what you call synergy. And
right.
You need that to win the title. And that's what Golden State has. And that's the King Kong in this whole equation.
Yeah.
So,
but I think even and you mentioned Golden State. I think even with that though, they got to figure out when Klay gets back how to incorporate him into. So they're gonna have, because Klay been out 2 years, so that's not gonna be as easy of a because everybody's going, hey, and when Klay come back, it's gonna take some time. He's got to get his game back. They got to figure out how they're gonna play with him. I think it's a little bit jumping the gun to just assume he comes in, jumps in a speeding car, and they keep going.
True, but it's going to be an easier transition because they've done it before, particularly with those 3, with that coach.
Yeah, that part, all that's in place. But there's a lot of other pieces, though.
Correct, but I'm saying at least with LeBron, they've never done that before.
Yeah, because
it's whole new play.
The GM changes the lineup every year.
Correct.
Like he literally rebakes the lineup
to the good or the bad.
Yeah,
right. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys, they've managed to go, we're going to be here. We're going to stay here.
Yeah.
And no matter how bad and how dark it gets, and it's gotten dark.
Yeah.
It's gotten bad.
Yeah, last year.
And particularly Steph and Draymond's credit, they have shown up most nights when they could. Even when they were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, even when, they were getting their tails kicked in, their heads kicked in, they showed up.
Yeah.
And I believe that's part of why they are reaping the benefits of that, because they played through so much of that muckety-muck last season that they've learned some things that work for them, because it's essentially the same roster.
Right.
And Jordan Poole stepping up.
Right.
Jordan Poole, I believe, did they win last night? No,
they lost. They lost.
But he still had
had a great game.
Curry had a tough game.
Yeah, Curry had the first bad shooting night of the year.
So to your point though, you're gonna have to take a guy who in Jordan Poole, who's normally used to getting around 15 shots a game, and now you're bringing back in Clay. Clay's normally gets around 14 to 16 shots a game, and you still got Steph, and you got Wiggins, who's been playing a little bit better this season. So to your point, they are going to have to try to figure out what's going to work with that iteration of the team.
And Weissman, like, you know, nobody talks about Weissman, but Weissman was like a number 2 pick.
But I don't think he doesn't need the ball.
No. He's going to be there to play defense, but
So
you still got to work him.
Fits in better.
But he still has to work in the rotation defensively.
But I think he'll fit in. It won't be as much of an adjustment for a 5.
Yeah, because you're not asking him to score the basketball. Right. That's facts. But they still going to add pieces. It changes the rotation.
They got Kuminga.
Yes. No, they got good when they were a great dominant team before KD got there. People forget they were deep. They had a bench.
Oh yeah.
They had guys that can hit you in waves.
Yeah, Barbosa
was West on that team. David West coming off the bench.
Well, I think he came and they lost to LeBron that year.
Was that the year?
Because the thing was, you left the Pacers and you left like $11 million. And you signed for $1 million to win a title.
I didn't even get the title.
That was a bad gamble.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, forgive me for stating the obvious, but that's.
Yeah, I'm not.
Even if you would have won the title.
Yeah.
You paying $9 million.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But I think Golden State is looking great, and I think Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix last night showed out without Devin Booker. Well, he played, but then he got hurt and left in the first quarter, second quarter.
He got hurt.
And but they were balling too, and they play a style. They can go up tempo. They can slow it down. They can play half court. Chris Paul does not get the credit he always deserves because he doesn't have that chip. But the minute he gets it, it's like it changes his legacy. Like, he is an unbelievable player.
Interesting game because they play the same style of basketball defensively, where they just ball constrictors, right?
Yeah.
They just slow, and they held Golden State, who leads the league in scoring, to 96 points.
Yeah.
So now I don't know this, but in my mind I'm rattling around the idea. Devin Booker's not the greatest defender. Maybe they are a better defensive team.
Yeah.
With him off the floor.
I mean, it's very possible.
You know, it's just a thought, not necessarily I'm considering it.
Yeah. There was a battle yesterday for New York with Brooklyn. Brooklyn and the Knicks played a really.
I never even considered that.
No, the stadium the arena was going crazy. They were playing in Brooklyn, but it felt like they were playing in New York. So many Knicks fans.
Oh, Madison
Square Garden. So many Knicks fans over there doing their thing and really wanting. I think the Knicks fans were like really going on like it was a championship.
Because it is their champion.
It is their What is it with Knicks fans?
Yeah,
obnoxious.
Just and from day one.
Like, yo, kid,
my whole life.
The Knicks have been terrible literally since I was born. In the early 70s. Like, they've never done anything.
Yeah.
Why is Madison Square Garden considered the Mecca?
I don't know where that came from.
The Mecca of what?
Because when I came into, I was about to say knowledge of self, when I came into the knowledge of
my brother Hunter,
it was like, like Mecca is the Mecca, right? It was like Madison Square Garden was the Mecca. You just, before you can form an opinion either way, you just kind of accept it,
right?
Because that's what you hear, and of course they have obviously a deep history of basketball players coming out of the state of New York. But I really don't know how that came about. I guess it's like, hey, ain't nobody else.
Let's just say it.
Let's just say it and just see
if it sticks.
See how it goes.
I'm the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I guess that's what that's how it went down. But I mean, it was a close game. The Nets won by 2.
Yeah.
Harden, I believe, had over 20 in the first half.
Yeah, 28 in the first half.
If they can get it's been interesting about Harden the whole entire season, where you got a guy who consistently puts up 20 plus shots a game. Some games he'll put up 9.
Yeah.
Some games he'll put up 12. And
to his own, and he's admitted he's trying to figure it out.
Well, you ain't got to do that with Kyrie out, bro. When Kyrie out, they need the volume.
Yeah, go.
They need the volume. They need you to be that guy.
And I think Katie's told him as much.
Yeah. I think, I think if they can get, obviously, if you can get a guy that's doing that. But Harden does that.
Right.
So let's get you back to, a little bit more of your
Houston. I was gonna say the Houston Harden.
Because you can you clearly can run the point, and you can create your own shot, and you're a terrific passer.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Yeah.
You got Patty Mills over there in the corner when Joe Harris be out, and when Joe Harris come back, you got Joe Harris over there in the corner.
Yeah.
And
Harris is out 2 months.
And they've been winning a lot of these games without a real inside presence, without Claxton.
Yeah.
And
even Griffin's been out.
And Blake's been out, but then you've had Aldridge stepping up looking like Portland.
I'm about to say, Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, he probably got some. He went over there. He wasn't really hurt. He just went on over to Germany and got that Kobe.
Exactly. That spun the blood and put it back in.
I need to get mine spun.
Man, I know. All the drinking I've been doing lately.
Well, I've been spinning my drinks.
I need to spin this bourbon.
I can spin that. It's spinning right now.
Nah, man.
That would say here.
No, but I will say this about Brooklyn, who I pull for. Brooklyn hasn't beat any good teams.
I've seen that, yeah.
But it's the opposite of the Lakers. They're winning the games they're supposed to win, and while they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
So they sit atop the East at 15-6.
I thought they were second in the East.
No, they're first.
They're first. Okay,
yeah, they're first in the East. 15-6. But they haven't when they've gone on to play the good teams. They've lost to the Bulls. I think they beat the Lakers, but then the Lakers are not technically considered one of the good teams at the moment by definition. They've lost to the Bucks, but they beat the bad teams, and that's what you're supposed to do while you're figuring out in the first 25% of the season. So we're in the first quarter of the season. They are figuring it out right now.
Yeah, they've lost to they've also lost to the Warriors.
Yes,
I'm looking at it now. They lost surprisingly to a 76. Well, no, the 76ers were at full strength minus. No, they beat the 76ers. But they lost to the Hornets. That's a bad loss.
Yeah.
But that was earlier in the season.
And the Hornets have been a little bit up and down. They started off strong, then they lost some games, and then they won like 9 straight, and then the Bulls had to go ahead and put the thing on them the other day. And I got to talk about my Bulls because I think the Bulls are the story of the early part of the season. I think, obviously, I'm a Bulls fan, Chi-Town, stand up. The front office change, getting Gar Forman and John Paxson out of there has changed everything for the Bulls. Karnisovitz and Mark Eversley gutted that roster in record time. I don't think there's anybody there other than Levine that was there 2 years ago. Rebuilt the roster. Ball, great defender. Caruso, great defender. DeRozan, scorer, passer, facilitator. And if we had Patrick Williams, the draft pick from last year. He's hurt and he's going to miss the whole season. I would think the sky's the limit. But right now, I love what we do. We're playing defense. It's kind of the point you were making. We play suffocating defense. We hold teams under their average all the time, and we can get buckets.
Yeah.
Now Levine doesn't have all the pressure.
No, and you got Vooch back.
Yeah.
Which
he put 30. He had 30 and 15 the other night.
Yeah, I believe it was against Charlotte.
Yeah.
If I'm mistaken. Mm-hmm. I mean, we knew. You and I talked about it in the summer when they brought over Caruso and they brought over Lonzo. That immediately those were two like top flight on ball defenders.
Right.
I want to say particularly Alex Caruso, but Alex Caruso is a guy who knows his role. And that's important when you're trying to bring in a championship team. You have guys that come off the bench. I'm an energy guy. I don't need to score a lot of buckets.
Right.
And I'm gonna be disruptive. There was one clip, I forget who he was guarding, Alex Caruso, where he literally, the dude just gave the ball up.
Yeah.
Like, he just had him.
No, it looked like some little league type. Like, let me just get that from you.
Yeah. So that and DeRozan plays great defense.
Yeah.
So you've got the makings of, and I told you, so y'all can win the East too. So y'all can win the East.
I'm not gonna go there.
Okay.
We just trying to go 1-0 every night.
Whatever.
We trying to go 1-0 every night, baby. Like you getting ahead of yourself.
I'm
right
not
now.
getting ahead of.
You're getting ahead of yourself, big dog.
We watched Miami do it 2 seasons ago.
Mm-hmm. In the bubble.
In the bubble. We've watched teams come out of the East that you wouldn't necessarily think
that play the right way.
Yeah, and I think why not the Bulls? Why not the Hawks? Why not, if they get like, that's what I said about the Hawks last year. We came close.
Yeah.
And I think that the Bulls could be this year's Hawks.
Well, you mentioned the Hawks, and it makes me think about Ben Simmons.
The Hawks.
I know the Hawks are your team, but it was kind of the series. Wasn't it the series with you guys that sort of the thing imploded with Ben, where Ben was like, where he really got at odds with Doc and the guys on the team? Wasn't it the series with you guys?
Yeah.
What's your take on where that is and where that's going?
Well, okay.
Because you have, let me set it up like this. You have 3 guys that are, let's say, top 25 players in the league. You have John Wall, you have Kyrie Irving, and you have Ben Simmons that are literally at home.
Yeah.
These are $30 million a year, in Wall's case, $45 million a year guys that, for different reasons, are not playing basketball. But let's talk specifically about Ben. What's your take on Ben, and how do you think it's going to resolve itself?
Well, for me, I think, okay, so you take it back to how it all started. You have Ben Simmons and the collapse that was the 76ers. I believe they were up, I don't know, 3-1, whatever it was. And, they 76ers ended up losing a series. And the ire of particularly the city of Philadelphia went to Ben Simmons. My take on it was completely different than everybody else's, because not everybody else's, but the vast majority. I don't think that it's Ben Simmons' fault that they lost. Ben Simmons is their third offensive option. So how can you blame a series on your third offensive option? It's the equivalent of blaming the Hawks losing on Kevin Huerter or
right.
It's like, what? He's also their third highest paid player. So he's not even their first. Like, you could go
that season he was
in this season. They haven't got any new contracts. Joel Embiid
and who's second?
And Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris makes more than
Joel Embiid. Makes more than Ben Simmons. And those are your first 2 offensive options.
Okay.
So you're mad at a guy. You're mad at your third option who has never been looked at as a quote unquote a big time scorer. Those things, and you looked at how Embiid finished those second halves in those games that they lost. I believe he was 1 for 21. So I think you got to look at your first option. Like, why aren't you closing out the 5th seed, which is what we were at that time? But Joel Embiid seemed to skate that responsibility. Tobias Harris didn't get any. Nobody even mentioned his name, but everything went to Ben Simmons because of his lack of shooting.
Yes,
in those clutch moments
and reluctance.
But
even open shots.
But what we know,
layups.
But what we know about Ben Simmons is he's a distributor first. He played how he's been playing, in my opinion, the whole time. And not to mention, it's not like the other guys were balling. If Joel Embiid scores a few more buckets, they advance to play the Bucks. Yeah. It's not us.
Right.
So I think if Joel Embiid is more clutch in those moments, I mean, you look at nobody else skates that. I haven't seen anybody else skate that responsibility. You look at LeBron. If he's 1 for 21, in the fourth quarter, he's gonna get all the blame. For me, especially. Well, I'm gonna call a special show to come on here and get LeBron. I'll be like, should I get him? Well, okay. So that's all I'm saying, and it would be normal. It's normal for you to go, hey man, your number one option has to play better. We lost because you didn't perform in the second half of those games. But you go to the third option, and so I feel like, and the relationship with Ben and the 76ers, I think the players have come out, and obviously it seems like they have sort of circled the wagons. And if you look at I believe the winning percentage when Ben is in that starting lineup is 67%. If I'm not mistaken, I need to check that, but I know it's high. It could be higher.
Yeah.
So they're better with him on the floor than not.
Theoretically.
Statistically.
Yeah. But in theory, because maybe their chances are better long term moving him. I'm surprised that nobody's put the package together to get him there. Well, it doesn't seem to be a market for him.
Well, from what I understand, they are asking for
a lot.
A king's ransom.
Well, isn't he a top 5 player?
I think. Well, I don't know if he's a top 5
10?
player, but the way you're treating him like he's not, but you're asking for.
But as a fan, aren't you of the belief that he's a top 10 player? Or has that changed?
Those down. I would have to write down. Okay, you got Durant, you got Curry, you got LeBron, you got.
Well, I know you used to view him. I know you used to view him as an elite player.
I do think he's an elite player. I think he's an elite.
So they're right for asking for a king's ransom. They're not gonna just dump him for nothing.
But what you can't do is not start him and then ask me to give you a king's ransom for him. it's kind of like you're killing his own value.
He didn't show up for work.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
He didn't show up for work.
No, you're right about that. Well, but I think, well, okay, so you can't, I believe, but you can't treat him the way that you have, particularly Doc Rivers, some of the comments that he made post, after the series was over, and then go, okay, he's this great player. We need all of this stuff. When y'all don't even, you seemingly don't want the guy. Seemingly.
He seems soft to me.
I ain't saying he out here like, Anthony Mason. You know what I'm saying?
No, he's not.
I'm not saying that.
Like, my take is this.
But a dude that averages, 16, 8, and 8 for his career.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a solid player, but I think.
I want that.
I mean, I think we want it in theory, but I don't know, man.
You surround him with shooters. You surround him.
Well, I've always felt that way.
You surround him with Joe Harris. You surround him with, some guys because he's looking for those guys.
You know the thing that's always stuck in my mind about him? He's like the one guy that I can think of that was a clear one and done that didn't get his team to the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
That's always bothered me about him.
He was NIT, right?
Yes.
NIT that year.
Yeah. And that says a lot to me. That says a lot to me.
So, okay, switching gears a little bit, what do you think about John Wall? Like, the Rockets are saying he can come back. He's just not going to be a starter.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, he averaged 21.7 assists last year in 40 games.
No, he can play.
Like, why would you not start that? And then you bring along Jalen Green and Kevin Porter. Well, why wouldn't you have Wall around to mentor those guys? And I mean,
the only thing I can think of is maybe he's just not a mentor. Maybe he doesn't have that thing.
Okay, so why would you get rid of 21 and 7 though?
Because I think you're trying to develop.
And the year before that, he was 21 and 9. That's Grammy.
No, I think yes, the numbers are great. I'm curious why they just won't move him, and why nobody wants to pick up that contract. That's what I'm curious.
Well, I mean, I believe it's $95 million.
Yeah,
the next
2 years. Yeah,
right, I mean that's
a lot of bread. But I'm sure Houston would take some of it.
Boy, well, yeah,
to get it off their books.
Well, so I think what teams have been rumored to be in that sweepstakes?
I haven't heard anybody.
I've heard an outside shot at the Lakers.
Anytime somebody come available, the Lakers.
But they've been known right to make the blockbuster deal.
Yeah, like we see it right now. They got 6 Hall of Famers. They 12 and 11.
Yeah, they've been, but
they 12 and 11 with 6 Hall of Famers.
Like
fuck out of here.
Got $40 million contract. They coming on in there.
No, this fool's coming there like for in and out gift certificates.
Yeah, like, hey, y'all just give me a gift certificate to the Beverly Center.
Free parking at the Beverly Center. And LeBron promised you can come over his house and drink his Petrus. Get out of here, man. Anyway, listen, so we're going to come back and, one of the things that we're going to be doing differently is we're going to be going live on more of a daily basis so we can get our NBA talk in real time for the fans that want to come in and engage with us right then. And then we'll put those conversations up. So we'll definitely be digging a lot deeper into our NBA conversations. You are an NBA guy, and I have to say this, and I'm not trying to embarrass you, but you are one of the most in-depth NBA guys that not getting a check to be an in-depth NBA guy. But I swear I'll put you up against anybody.
It's like, hey, you
it was like a backhand compliment. Hey, you amazing to not get paid to do this.
You spend maybe a little bit. You might need to divide your time up more wisely.
No, your NBA game is amazing though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the best product of the 3 major sports.
It is.
It is. I mean, every night you're getting, fantastic matchups. I mean, you can look. I mean, I want to watch Charlotte.
Yes.
I want to watch Charlotte, Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
Don't nobody want to watch, 2 off-brand teams like that in the NFL.
Right.
And I think that, I like the fact that they have a little bit more freedom to speak.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the league seems to be a little bit more open-minded as it relates to social issues. So yeah, I mean, I feel the product is better, and I feel like they're try to be more inclusive of all the fans.
Yeah, and the players I think are in a better position as well.
I mean, and
guaranteed contracts, voice.
If you like the NBA, get league pass for.
It really is a good value.
Yeah, oh man,
it's an excellent value.
Man, I mean, any game you want to see.
Yeah,
if you're willing to just stay up.
Yeah,
and watch it.
And sometimes even when the team's not good, there's great players to watch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's a players' league.
Yeah,
right? I mean, like you look at last night. I mean, maybe some people aren't as high on him as I am, but when Damian Lillard is out, C.J. McCollum is every bit as effective.
Yeah,
and they won last night. They played the Pistons, but I'm saying C.J. McCollum and Anthony Simmons, a guy that comes out number 6 guy off the bench, started last night. I believe he scored 20 points. I mean, you look at it like you really start to realize the skill level of these guys is
off the charts.
Yes. So I mean,
even on the bad teams.
Yeah. I mean, you look at take a bad team, New Orleans Pelicans, Daniel Graham, really good point guard, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williams ain't even started playing yet.
Right.
I mean, you got guys all across. Jason Hart can play.
Yeah.
You got you name a city, I can name you 2 or 3 guys
that can get at it.
Alec Burks scored over 20 points last night.
For the Knicks.
Yeah.
I mean, he had it going too. I mean, he kept him in the game because every time the Nets were pulling away, it seemed like he was getting a bucket or Rose was getting a bucket.
Look at the Wizards. Bill Kuzma's playing.
Yeah, man, Kuzma, that's your guy. He's actually validating what you said about him 2 years ago to me.
Yeah. I mean, so you can go.
He's making you look good. It's delayed.
Hey, better late than never. But OKC, Shea.
I can't say his last name. Yeah, the other guy though.
Yeah. Well, it's the point guard.
Yeah.
The point guard. So I mean, I look, League Pass. Maybe we should. Hey, League Pass, y'all want to sponsor?
I know, right? We'll pub you up every day.
All I need is free League Pass.
Right, I know, because I'm thinking about paying for it again on the app just so I can get rid of DirecTV as soon as football season.
Wait a minute, you have to pay for it again?
Well, because I have it through DirecTV, but I want to get my DirecTV shut off because I hate DirecTV.
So so this thing got to be part of the show.
No, it's part of the show. I want to actually kill DirecTV.
No,
I want to use my platform to kill DirecTV.
I just feel like I thought that you couldn't get League Pass on your phone. You can't, or you can't.
No, you can't. Well, you can get the app. Like I get the app. Like last year, I got
the app work.
Yeah, but I get it on Apple TV.
Oh, on Apple TV. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now we have Apple TV. I just don't know how to work it.
Ask your kids, man. That doesn't mean you're getting old. Just do what I do. I got young people. You just ask them. They know everything.
Hey, y'all need to come over to my house for about 2 hours.
No, you need to get your kids to do because your kids know.
I'm gonna tell you what my kids do.
They know.
They know. Everything is through their PlayStation.
That's fine.
Like everything they do is like Netflix.
But it's the same though. It's basically the same thing.
I tell you what, I know how to work on Apple TV, the Disney Channel.
You know how to work it all. It's the same. The NBA app is the same as the Disney Channel app on Apple TV. They work exactly the same.
So there's no is there a League Pass app?
Yes.
So I can just go to the App Store
and get the yes.
You ain't even say nothing.
Nah, bro, come on, man. Stop being old.
You ain't say nothing.
Stop being old.
I'm just saying, like somebody got to say something. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not denying the fact that I'm old, but somebody say something. It's like the other day, like when I didn't know that UGA was playing Clemson to start ain't nobody say nothing to start the season, and I called you and I said, why didn't you say anything?
All the information that you ever want is this.
There's that. Like
use your phone to your benefit.
Because I be out here at the games at my son's.
Yeah, that's true.
Games.
You have a little bit of an excuse.
Well, no, and I'll be like, hey man, I'll just be thinking I gotta suffer in silence. That I can't watch the games.
But you probably can. There's a lot of things you probably could have watched on your phone. You do know that.
I just gotta step up.
Yeah, get your we'll get your tech. I'm gonna send some of my
because I'm looking at your help. You got help.
Yes, I do. I am a product of many here. I want to talk about NFL a little bit before we go.
Okay.
Because we're right in the middle of the NFL season. We're probably we're going to the last third of the season, I guess. The playoffs are shaping up.
It flies by.
We're trying. Yeah. Oh my God, it flies by, right? So we got teams sort of lining up for position for the playoffs. It looks like Green Bay is going to be good. It looks like the Patriots are going to go to the Super Bowl. I have this terrible nightmare that it's going to be the Patriots against Green Bay in the Super Bowl. And I've already said, if that's what happens, because I hate both those teams. I really hate Green Bay. The Patriots annoy me. If those two teams go to the Super Bowl, I'm either not watching or I'm going to have an all-girls Super Bowl party with drinking games, door prizes, like random, like it's not even going to look like, it's going to look like a baby shower.
It's going to look like
with the game on.
Tupperware party.
Yeah. That's so, you said Tupperware? What is this, 1950?
Finger hut parties. You're trying to know about that finger hut.
I don't know anything. That sounds X-rated.
Nah, finger hut. Like,
that sounds like something you ain't supposed to. Can we say that?
Finger hut got them little knickknacks. It used to be this little brochure back in the day that, like, I don't want to say women because I ain't trying to get canceled, but women would that finger hut would be their thing.
Finger hut sounds like some under the bleachers high school thing. No?
Man, I wish it was, but it's not. Yeah, I wish.
Hey, girl, what's up with that finger hut?
What's up with that finger? Like, hey, I gave her that finger hut, shawty. Let's see this finger hut right here. This is the site. So
like that's a thing for women?
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm saying so like my stepmother used to get the brochures and order stuff from all the time, and so it was one of in the aunts and stuff, and they'd be talking. They love finger hut.
Okay.
Like, man, I never finger hut to me is like like I don't know, like J.C. Penney's.
Okay, all right.
Like it's like
I never heard of it.
Well, I just like
maybe some Southern.
It exists, but like not really.
Right.
To me.
Right.
Who's going to J.C. Penney? Like it's never been my idea to go to J.C. Penney.
Well, it's funny. The very first credit card I ever got was from J.C. Penney.
Really?
It was in 1988.
That might have been back when J.C. Penney was still hot.
It's popping.
Yeah.
I bought the first thing I bought was a waffle iron. It's a fat boy shit. Like, I wanted a waffle.
Like, out of all the stuff you could buy, you went over.
I went over there because they had appliances. And I got my grandmother, may she rest in peace, she wanted a toaster oven. They gave me $300 of credit.
That's fine.
They gave me $300 in credit. No, I'm going to tell you why. Because my mom used to get these toaster waffles. Like Eggo.
Sure. We got them all up and through my house.
I hated those. I wanted my mom to make a real waffle. She going to kill me for saying this. My mom wouldn't get a waffle iron. I think I went in on her for like, from the time I was 7 to the time I got that waffle iron when I was 18.
Pour the stuff over.
Yes.
And then close.
Because all my white friends could get waffles. I got toasted waffles.
The thing
it was white people envy.
The thing that my white friends had was they had cupboards. Like they had cupboards with in pantries.
Yeah.
And like all my food used to be on top of the refrigerator. Like the cereal's up there. You know what I'm saying? The bread is up there.
What did y'all put in the cabinets? What y'all put in the cabinets?
I mean, if we had enough, every now and then it'd be some ravioli. You know what I mean? Some Chef Boyardee
canned goods.
Yeah, canned goods. All canned goods.
Oh, wow.
But most of the food was on top of the refrigerator. Like anything you just want, like cookies would be up there, little Ritz crackers.
Yeah.
Would be like, that's what they had. Okay, so for those that don't know, I'm biracial. So when I would go.
He's biracial. That song is dope. Look that up.
The video.
Mo-fi. No. Look that up. I don't know who the artist is. Just she's biracial.
But
check that on YouTube.
My grandmother, who she's gone now, but she had like you could walk in her cupboard.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, and it used to be just food. And I'm like, Mom, how come
options?
We didn't get this part of the white privilege.
It comes with white DNA.
Yeah, but as a single parent family,
you get stuff.
Had that. We just like I didn't get any benefits of my white privilege. So in fact, the people I want to speak to the white privilege office. I'm half white. So if I could get my half of the white privileges, I'm open. I don't deny
just
it.
Just the 50%.
I
don't have to get the whole thing.
Hey, we can start with just 25.
Yeah.
And see what I do with that.
Yeah. And if I show up.
And if I earn.
And I earn the right.
The rest of my white privilege, I just won't. Hey, because the only people that remind me that I'm half white is black people. Like nobody white has ever been like, hey, you're half white. Come on in.
Right.
So I'm just saying I embrace it. I don't deny it. But y'all the ones make me to feel most black. And I would just appreciate if y'all just. I just want, like I said, I don't need half.
Just 25%.
25%.
I think that's fair. And I actually think you would do well with that 25%.
You do?
Yeah, get a good loan.
So he
paid on time.
Advocating on my
You pay that loan on time.
Hey,
even if you were gonna default, your wife wouldn't let you. Your wife is by the rules. Your wife plays by the rules.
Hey, let me tell you.
Shout out to Marie Hunter.
I didn't have no credit or no bank account before I met my wife.
She got you together.
Yeah, she got my whole.
Did she get you the product you put in your hair? Because you came in here.
No, I got it.
You came in here with the Heidi ho.
I got it because of the product.
You came in, boy, because of the product? Yeah. So you had the product.
Oh, yeah, I had the product now. That was the one thing. That's why my priorities was messed up.
Yeah, facts.
You know,
I wasn't eating, but my hair looked good.
So full disclosure, I would get my check from his father. And I would sign it over to Marie, and she would cash it. That's how I would cash my check.
Wow! shout out to my dad.
Yeah, shout out to Phil.
Rest in peace. I want to talk about. We got to get into some NFL though.
All right.
Let's talk about the Rams because they seem to be in a little bit of a nosedive right now. So when they got my man from Von Miller,
yes, and
they got Odell, it was like, okay, cool. Go ahead, put them in the championship. It's all love. It's all good. But no,
not even. And it's interesting because it not Von Miller as much, but Odell seems to bring a cloud of losing with him. You know, I was trying to think of a better word, but like he brings the. Now I'm not saying it's because of him. I'm just saying he brings it because I think that obviously it's not even a thing. When Odell's on the field, he plays hard. Like he's not half-assing on routes.
No, he does drop some balls up.
He run blocks.
Yes.
Odell is not. I mean, but it just seems wherever he comes, it just seems like. I mean, how you gonna be 0-3
since he got there?
0-3.
But here's a couple things too.
That's 3 losses in a row.
Defense.
I'm not a mathematician.
No, but the defense is giving up a lot of points. If I have a defense with Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Ramsey, Jalen Ramsey,
mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be giving up 30.
And Leonard Floyd
shouldn't be giving up 30 a game. But here's the thing that you maybe hadn't thought about that I thought about. I got a stat. This stat lines matter, right? We like stats.
Love stats, boy.
Matt Stafford 9-71 against winning teams in his career.
That's not high.
That's low.
That's very low.
That's very low. 9-71, and it continues in the Rams uniform.
He came out on fire though.
He did.
He came out looking like, see, this is what I've been trying to tell you.
Yeah, I know that was the narrative. Like they would hold me back.
Yeah, but now I'm here.
Yeah.
Now y'all really finna see what I'm supposed to been doing. So let me see where the Rams defense rank right now overall.
I'm not sure.
All right, so they're middle of the road. They're giving up 351 yards a game, 247 passing, 100 yards rushing. They're giving up 24 points per game.
But it's been worse since Von Miller arrived.
Since they're
the
Pro Bowl edition.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're actually in the bottom of the league, in the bottom portion of the league, points given up.
Yeah.
They're like 22nd.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
they have time. They have time to right the ship because I definitely think they're all in.
Oh yeah,
they've gone all
like
in,
yeah.
And so they got time, and you know they look like they're gonna make the playoffs, but you don't know.
Yeah, so 3 straight games, 28 or more.
Yeah,
and against offenses who I mean, the 49ers got a good offense. It's not a great offense.
No.
The Titans have a good offense,
right?
But without Julio and without Derrick Henry,
yeah.
I mean,
like why?
Now the Pack. They got all.
Yeah, the Pack gonna get 30.
But
whoever.
But to your point, when the first, I believe, 6 games of the season, they gave it up 14, 24, 24, 20, 17, 11, and 19.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
If you're giving up sub 20,
sub 20 is amazing in 2021.
Yeah, and that's not Matthew Stafford's fault. What is part of his responsibility is 16 points against the Titans in their last 3 games, 16 points, 10 points against the Niners, 28 points against the Pack. So that's not that bad. But
and taking care of the football too. The team that shares that stadium is also having some issues, and that quarterback that everybody loves, and listen, he's good. Herbert.
They still sharing the stadium?
Yeah, SoFi.
I thought they had their own by now.
He's got
that's probably part of the problem.
He's got as many interceptions this year as he had all last year.
I did not know.
Yeah,
that. I did not know.
Now
he just hit me with a stat
because stat lines matter.
Stat lines matter.
The question that I have, because everybody, and I said this, and I know I was being a little difficult when I said it, trying to hot take it, but Anthony Lynn took so much heat last year for his game management, and he deserved to get that. His game management was below average.
Right.
But I always said, how come he doesn't get any credit for why we all like Herbert? Because he's an offensive coach.
Yeah.
How come he didn't get any credit for why he was playing well? And now they brought in this new, they brought in the O coordinator, I believe, from New Orleans, and it's like it was supposed to go to another level, and they were supposed to be competitive, and they are competitive in ways that they were not last year. But his play has slipped a little bit. What does that due to? Would it have gone that way if Anthony Lynn was still there?
I don't know if I'm looking at it. He's also thrown 24 touchdowns. He threw 31 all of
30 last year. Yeah.
So he's
ahead of.
He's outpacing the touchdown piece. And if you look at the last, they haven't scored any less than 25 points since week 3.
Yeah.
So
he get points?
No, actually, no, that's wrong. No. They scored only 6 against. They scored 6 against the Ravens, and in the last game they only scored 13. So that's wrong.
Yeah.
But I think look, these when you get a new coach, and Anthony Lynn, you and I talked about Anthony Lynn and the heartbreak that he went through in a couple of seasons with the kicker, and missing a lot of those kicks at the end. I think that our guy up in Cleveland before the other 3 coaches, Hugh, went through the same sort of heartbreak.
Yeah.
It's one of those things I think where you look at kind of like Harbaugh. You have to if you look at why a team is winning, why they're losing, and if you can take out the fan pressure, do you really believe that this is the guy? I think a lot of times teams make moves based on other influences outside of what the coach 100%. Is actually capable of.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the day, I think you have to. Now, I don't share this about Harbaugh. I'm not buying this year at all. But that's besides the point. They're looking at you're looking at wins and losses and et cetera. But I think you have to look at, does this guy have the support of the locker room? Does this guy
the culture?
Are they So I'm an Anthony Lynn guy, but he did have some pretty questionable calls.
I mean his game management was below average, but other coaches have been too. The thing that I look at, and just clicking back to Matt Stafford for a second. I don't think there would be a black quarterback, no matter what stats he had, that would be allowed to be 9-71 against winning teams. That's 80. That's an 80 game sample size. I don't think a Jameis Winston, who may be similar in comp, like in terms of volume of yards and touchdowns, but not equating to winning.
Right.
They pull the plug on him well before an 80 game sample size could be put together.
I mean, they pulled it on him. He had numbers that were actually better than Peyton Manning's after 5 seasons.
Right.
So,
and that's kind of my point. It's kind of like, you got to go.
Yeah.
But with Matt, it's like, it's everyone else's fault. It was coaching. I actually heard someone say this. This is true. I wish I could call the guy out. But they said, now that he's with the Rams, he finally has some playmakers. I'm going, he had Calvin Johnson, who went into the Hall of Fame younger and quicker than any other wide receiver in the history of the game.
True.
What are you talking about, weapons?
But he put up numbers with Calvin.
Exactly. And he still didn't win.
Yeah.
But to say that, now he's got weapons, none of the weapons he has now are better than Calvin Johnson.
They're not but across the board.
He might have a better coach.
He got better weapons though, with the Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods is hurt now, but Van Jefferson, Darrell Henderson.
But Van Jefferson, those guys just got there.
I'm saying, but he just got there.
Yeah, and they struggling.
He just got there.
It looked like the same thing to me.
I still like the Rams to make some noise in the playoffs.
There's time. I will say that. I'm not hitting the button, but I'm just pointing that out.
And the Rams have the seventh offense in the league. Chargers right behind them.
Yeah.
So they both got 2 top 10 offenses.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, but you gotta win. You got to win, baby.
Yeah,
Because they're all in.
The defense,
they didn't give up. They don't have no first round pick until 2030, something like that. Like that. Like no, it's literally something like that.
But they went. They swung for the fences.
They did
with these two. I mean, I guess, but you got to be careful. This is kind of like the same thing that the Eagles did a few seasons ago when they brought in Nnamdi Asomugha. They brought in all those guys. Like you have to also like, is this guy going to be good for our culture? Is this guy going to be good for? I understand what he brings talent wise, right. But and they're a little bit more, I think, cognizant of it in the NBA because the rosters are so much smaller, and you have to play offense and defense. Yeah. But in the NFL, I believe when you bring in a personality as big as Odell Beckham's, you just have to do a little bit more vetting on the front, particularly when your offense was already rolling.
Right. In that same division, Seattle is in a free fall. And the word is that there's conflict. And I think we knew a little bit about this in the offseason. It's conflict between Russ and the coach. Russ is not playing well. Shout out to Russ. But he's not playing well. But he has a bad finger, and he probably should have stayed out longer.
I think they rushed him back.
And then he might have rushed himself back.
I think they rushed him back. And I mean, you still look at his numbers. He's still 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and he's completing 65% of it.
You think he's going to be there next year? He's 33 years old.
Yeah, I think he'll be there because I think they'll get rid of Pete beforehand.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think you look.
Who runs that team?
Look. I don't think you. If you're the GM, whoever he is, I'm not picking the 70-year-old coach over my MVP Super Bowl quarterback.
Big facts.
Like I'm not doing that. Not to mention, if you look at who Pete was in the NFL before he made the acute and apt switch to go from Matt Flynn to Russell Wilson in the offseason when they just signed Matt Flynn to that big contract. Yeah. I mean, he had been fired twice. Yeah. So I'm rocking with, and then if you also look at the reason why they've particularly been bad the last 2 seasons, it's been because of the defense. The defense has been, I know, I played daily fantasy. I know to pick on the Seahawks defense. Particularly their secondary has been atrocious. Yeah. So, for me, and you just signed him to. I mean, look, there'll be if they want to let go of Russell Wilson and stick with Pete. Hey, be my guest.
I will say this though.
They bring Russell to the Falcons. I'll be back.
You talk about fan pressure. When there was discussion of him leaving, fans were like, "Be out."
Was that the sentiment?
Yes.
Wow. I guess maybe because it was like 2 years ago. Maybe
that was last year.
But I thought he was in the middle of trying to get that contract, and we were actually.
No, that's what I'm saying. He got the contract, and people were like, "We overpaid him." And then when he listed the Bears, New Orleans, the Raiders, and someone else as possible trade, because this is before we got Fields, they were like, "Cool, be gone." 3 first rounders. They were like, "Go."
Hey, let me tell you something. I remember that now. You bring it back. You jogging my memory a little bit. I'm like, hey, why the Falcons ain't in this? Why can't you don't want to come ask Rich? Sierra from the A. Like you can bring her on home. Bring that boy on home. Bring with you. Bring your husband on home.
Yeah, bring him home.
Bring him on through the door. Yeah, I mean, look, I have my feelings about that, which are pretty probably will be called polarizing at best. Yes. But I do think in the end, if you're a football guy and you realize you don't pick the 70-year-old coach,
that's real,
over your MVP, your Super Bowl, he's taking you to 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. And he's, for all intents and purposes, I mean, he's a really good leader. He's a guy that ain't never giving you no trouble.
And he hasn't been hurt until this year.
Yeah. I mean, and you kind of need your fingers to throw. Yeah. And he came back.
Yeah. And he came back. And he probably shouldn't have, but he did come back.
So, last game, 20 for 31.
He's 247
yards. Yeah.
He's missing. Did you watch the game?
I watched probably 8 minutes.
He's missing some guys.
He missed some guys that last game, and I think I did. So I did hear and I watched the press conference. I don't know why I did that, but Pete Carroll said as much. Like, hey, we missed some guys.
Yeah, I would say this.
Protect.
I'll tell you I don't usually miss Monday Night Football, but I'm not gonna lie. I did not watch the game because I was watching. I was in the middle of a meltdown. My coach, Brian Kelly, who had been the coach for Notre Dame for 12 seasons,
like 5 straight 10-win seasons.
5 straight 10-win seasons, on the brink of possibly 3 playoff appearances in 4 seasons, up and left to dip out to go coach in Baton Rouge, the LSU Tigers. So when all that was breaking, I was watching Irish Breakdown. Shout out to Brian Driscoll and Vince D'Addario. They do a great job on Irish Breakdown. I'm a big fan of that show.
D'Addario.
Vince D'Addario.
What is that?
That's his name.
Yeah, is this so D'Addario?
He doesn't talk like that, but it does sound like D'Addario. Yeah. But shout out to Vince and
We're
and
talking
Brian
Notre
Driscoll.
Dame football.
Exactly.
I mean, we got on Zibikowski, special guest Zibikowski.
That would be hot. Like Zibikowski actually would be hot. They need to get him on.
Having all guys whose last name end in vowels.
But they were covering it like wall to wall, gavel to gavel. So I was watching them.
It's big news though. Yeah,
it was big news,
especially if that's your show.
Yeah, no, like they had like 2,000 people in the chat.
Wow,
like it was going crazy.
What's the normal?
300, 400.
Yeah, people had they like, well, I need to get on here.
Yeah, no, people were going to be heard. They want to be heard.
My voice.
Yes. So that happened, and there's so much to unpack there. I think leaving the team before even the playoff positioning was announced.
He was recruiting.
It was important.
Leaving somebody's house.
I know coaches were leaving people's houses and their phone were going off. But it happens, and I don't think you can leave a program like that and not have it be a little wonky. So I'm not gonna hold that against Kelly. There's a lot of Notre Dame Nation that's mad. I'm not. Kelly put us back on the map. The relationship was mutually beneficial.
Kyle Hamilton feels the way you feel.
Yeah, it was mutually beneficial. I don't have anything against him. We're in good shape. We're in much better shape than we were when he took that program over.
Yeah. And I think this may not quell or pacify make the Notre Dame fans feel any better, but from what I understand, he was frustrated with the administration for not being able to get certain guys in. Mm-hmm. He wanted, yes, you can probably win another 10 games there with that schedule and with the talent that he's getting. But every time they got in the playoffs and you faced a team that didn't have those academic restrictions, Clemson's, and it wasn't really much of a contest. And if as a coach, if you want to see what you can be without, being able, having the, because though Brian and Lou Holtz had the same issues, trying to get guys in with the administration and because these guys they don't necessarily share your football interest in whole. Like a lot of the athletes that come to Notre Dame, they like football, but they also like Notre Dame. Yeah. When you get a guy,
the guys who come to Notre Dame literally come for Notre Dame.
You get a guy, but the guys who go to LSU, go to Georgia, those are football decisions. Yeah. These guys are coming there to play football. Yeah. So, he's going to be able to go to it's pros and cons. You're going to be able to get whoever you want. You don't even have to leave Louisiana.
Not really.
But you got to play Alabama every year now. Yeah. So yes, you're going to be able to get your pick of pretty much who you want per capita. Last time I believe it was last time I saw was 2020. LSU had the most Division I college football players per capita, not overall. Right. So he don't even have to leave the state if he don't want to. Mm-hmm. So
Texas next door.
I mean, in the South, you can do, and then hey, look here. I ain't saying what I'm saying, but I'm just saying they want somebody, they gonna make it happen. Yeah. So yes, you get that, but he's gonna get a chance to actually see, like, okay, I want a roster similar to Alabama. I want a roster.
But I'm gonna tell you the problem though that he's gonna run into. Saban, Dabo Swinney, Kirby for sure. What's my guy at A&M?
Oh, Jimbo.
Yeah. They recruit hard.
And you go Oklahoma,
and now you got Oklahoma, and
Texas.
That's going to be a disaster for those two teams. We'll come to that later. But those guys recruit hard. Brian Kelly's a lazy recruiter. He's a lazy recruiter. He don't like to talk to the players. He don't like to do in-homes. You got to do that shit in the SEC.
Yeah. But if
you got to.
But you look at, I think maybe he looked at Ed Orgeron, a guy who can't coach his way out of a weapon.
But he's a great recruiter.
He's a great recruiter, but you go, man, I mean, he won one, you know.
Of course.
At LSU. You know
but here's the problem. And you still got to go recruit.
But
why do you think Florida fell off?
But Brian Kelly, I mean, you weren't happy with what he was doing up in Indy recruiting?
I mean, well, look at what's improved. Our linebacker haul that's coming this year, which will be the number one linebacker haul if we keep the class together, that's Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman did that. Yeah.
So, would you want, not to switch gears, but just a slight switching of the gears, would you be happy with the promotion?
Oh, absolutely. To me, it's one option.
But there's a lot of guys. This is the year to lose your coach. Because there's a lot of guys that can step right in. Luke Fickle's one of those guys.
Yeah,
but a lot of guys that can come in and y'all gonna be just
you'll be fine. But I think what Marcus Freeman gives you, and I know he's young, 35 years old, dynamic recruiter, ties to the Midwest, Ohio guy from Cincinnati, but he's really relatable. And you got recruits. I know you're not in the Notre Dame Twitter world, but you have a guy where all of the recruits are going, make him the coach.
Yeah.
All the players are going, make him the coach.
Yeah.
I think it's him. For me, it's Stoops. If you want to go like CEO, like kind of replace a Kelly, then you go Stoops. Because Stoops will know who to get. He'll know the coordinators got respect. For me, I think it's Fickle and Brian Brom like neck and neck.
I think for me, you go Freeman because there's nothing to get used to. Like Stoops,
yes,
he's Oklahoma. Yeah,
it's like a reset.
I get who I want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But
it's a reset.
But you still have to deal with those academic restrictions, and
Can we address that?
So with Freeman,
can we address that?
Go on and go. Say how you feel.
I don't say how you feel. Tell the people you coming home. No, I think that's a lot of. I think that's a lot of. There's a lot of hype there.
Well, this is the report coming from your man, the quarterback that is on now, the younger looking dude.
Quinn?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think
there was some frustration between him and the administration.
I think there's frustration because I think he wants to. He's got an ego, and in the state of Alabama,
they're gonna feed it in LSU.
Yeah, I'm about to say in the state of Alabama, Saban runs the state, the school. Dabo runs South Carolina. You're not gonna do that at Notre Dame.
You think
Father Jenkins runs Notre Dame?
You think Saban can free the black people in Alabama?
We're not even going. Don't get me started. I don't even know. Alabama should have the smallest black population in the country.
In Mississippi.
In Mississippi, right behind it. Don't get me started on why black people still live in those states.
Unless you play.
Unless you like getting a check, which I'm sure Saban is making sure happens for his blue chippers. Anyways, no, listen, I think you can recruit. That's why I think it's sometimes this idea that you can't recruit at Notre Dame. I think the type of athlete that Notre Dame can get sort of identifies himself because he has to be a little bit serious about academics. So when we come in, it's kind of like we know which guy is our guy. Yeah. But this notion that those guys can't ball, I'm not buying that. Kyle Hamilton can ball. He's going top 5 in the draft this year. Koromora would have gone top 10, top 15 if he hadn't had a heart thing that popped up on his in his physical. But he went in the second round. He's playing out of his mind for Cleveland in the secondary. We get players. Just because you're smart don't mean you can't ball.
But top to bottom, the rosters aren't like those.
Of course not. Of course not.
Get a chance to get that.
But you gotta go. It's a much. But now when he goes throughout the
get,
he's gonna be
the
able.
Coldest.
But
the coldest ain't come
to be able to get.
Yeah.
To be able to.
Right.
Get.
Right.
Doesn't mean you're gonna get them because you gotta go work to get them and go ask the coaches at Florida.
The coldest to ever do it.
Yeah, but at the coaches at Florida and Florida State, they're in a talent-rich state as well. They don't get no recruits no more.
Interesting, right? And they haven't been to CFP in
exactly.
Was it before Jameis?
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, that was BC. I think that was BCS. But to your point, it's competitive.
Yeah.
And you got teams like Notre Dame that come in. You got teams like Ohio State that come in and get guys. So it's not this thing that it used to be where it's like, oh, the school recruit itself. You still got to go sit in the living room. I don't think Kelly going to do that.
Well.
And I'm not going to diss him. I understand why he went. And don't discount the $100 million. Like, I would leave for that.
95. But I don't think.
I'd leave my family for $100. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm finna leave.
For $100 million. No, but I'm just saying, like, don't discount that. They saw their guy. They went for it. They made him an offer. I would have took it.
Well, from what I understand, it was one of those things where that LSU didn't think he was on the table.
Yeah.
And I guess there was some stuff that went on with Lincoln Riley that they had some USC, I guess maybe there was some interest there, or could have been some interest there. And LSU was like, wait a minute, if he's willing to leave for USC,
right,
then why don't we see if we can,
I think he should have, like, if you're going to leave Notre Dame, maybe he just did it out of respect because they're a rival, but I would have took the USC job over LSU.
Theoretically, it's
a clear path.
Yeah.
It's a clear path.
Yeah.
Clear path to prominence.
Well, yeah, and you don't want to, like, I don't want to, if I can choose USC, and then you think about it, then look at their schedule next year. They don't play Oregon. They don't play Washington.
And really, if you're a coach.
They got Notre Dame at home.
Yeah, we play Notre Dame. We go out there at the end of the season.
So.
No, and I think if you are recruiting, which is where the game is really played, it's Oregon and you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
On the West Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, and then again, you don't have to leave that state.
Yeah.
You don't, well, like I believe Pete Carroll's motto was, we're only leaving the state if we think that this guy can be a first-round pick.
Yeah.
That's
what he did.
Yeah.
Like, even when it didn't work out, like Vidal Hazelton and guys like that,
Brian Cushing,
they went to Jersey and Florida and got those guys. Makes sense.
Chris? Not it was, bro. Which one was? He's huge.
That was.
Was it Chris Gallipo?
Chris Gallipo. Okay. Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. I mean, they had some misses, but those guys still.
What a name.
They still showed up at SC.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't necessarily go pro, but they still balled at SC.
But they're still there, and they're still top. Taylor Mays. These guys are still top flight guys.
Yeah.
That everybody wanted.
Yeah, no doubt.
And everybody's not going to pan out.
No, listen. I think, like I said before, and I led this out by saying, I think I'm happy for Brian. Get your money. Take care of your family. Take care of your grandkids. That's a bag that nobody's going to walk away from. I'm not. You're not. As a person,
to it.
And particularly as a person who represents talent, I would have been behind the scenes trying to figure it out for Brian, because Brian's 60 or 61 years old. And if you don't take ND to a championship, then your value starts to tip this way. Having had that 5 seasons of 10 wins on the brink of the playoffs, you ran through your schedule, you had one hiccup. And this was supposed to be a rebuild for us.
Correct.
This was supposed to be a reload.
And you about to be in the playoffs.
We're not going to be in the playoffs. We'll put it this way, we need chaos. And they're still not going to put us in. They might put a 3-loss Ole Miss team in before they put us in. It'd be so much nonsense.
That's just your emotions talking.
No, it's not.
It is.
Okay, so answer me this question.
I will.
Why did Wisconsin drop 10 spots out of the top 25 with a loss to Minnesota, who's 8-4 on the road?
You're using a lot of big words. Okay.
To devalue our resume.
So, okay. I didn't know you were going to go there. I didn't know you were going to.
Well, I'm asking you the question. Have you seen a team in the college football playoff rankings this year have a 10-spot drop on a 10-point loss on the road to an 8-4 team?
No,
they dropped from 15 out of the 25.
I don't think it's happened. I don't think it's happened. So,
no.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to just disagree.
And then on the flip side, to give you the converse, to protect Alabama's resume, A&M stays in the top 25 at 25, having lost 2 out of their last 3 games, with that last loss to LSU, a 6-6 team that lost their coach 3 weeks ago.
That is true. But, okay, so you don't think if Cincinnati loses to Baylor, and
Cincinnati don't play Baylor.
Cincinnati, who they play?
Houston.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Houston. So Cincinnati plays Houston. Houston is ranked
21.
21. if Cincinnati loses to Houston and who else?
Michigan would need to lose to Iowa.
Michigan lose to Iowa, y'all in.
But here's the problem.
What?
Iowa's not going to blow nobody out.
Okay.
So it's going to be a close game.
Georgia beat Alabama. If Michigan lose to Iowa and Cincinnati lose to Houston, you're in.
See, I don't think so, and I'm going to tell you why.
That's the perfect storm.
That's the perfect argument for me. That's the only chance I got. But I'll say this. What the committee has done by moving the teams around the way they did, Purdue's out of the top 25, Wisconsin's out of the top 25. Those are 2 best wins, resume wins. And so if you can say, oh, Notre Dame doesn't have a win against a ranked team, that's a shot against us.
True. Yeah.
To not go in over a 2-loss Alabama team.
Ooh.
But then you got A&M that's barely hanging on. You have Arkansas that's in the 20s, which is one of their wins, right? Yeah. So in a way, they're not helping Alabama at the top, but you're helping them by keeping that narrative in place.
Yeah, because I think Alabama's strength of schedule is 22 right now.
Yeah.
Which is the highest of all the teams in the and it's going to even get stronger this weekend.
No, of course, but if you lose in the games, if you lost to A&M and they're not and that becomes part of the resume, you lost to an unranked team.
Yeah.
Which they should be. And then
they dropped 10 spots though.
Who did?
A&M to 24.
Or is it 24 or 25? They shouldn't even be there.
They dropped 25. They were ranked 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they dropped 10 spots though.
Right, but I contend that they shouldn't be there because that loss was worse than Wisconsin's loss.
Who Wisconsin lose to?
Minnesota on the road by 10.
That's their only loss?
No.
Oh, I finna say.
But they lost to an 8-4 team.
Right.
Texas A&M lost to a 6-6 team.
Which was LSU.
Yes.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
I do. Okay.
And the other thing they say is a factor is how you're playing. How you're playing in November.
Okay.
Alabama has 3 1-touchdown victories and an overtime victory against
But it's going to be hard to drop them when they started out ranked number 1 in the country, and they got 1 loss.
I'm saying if they of course if they win they're going to stay. But I'm saying if they lose, they're making the argument to keep them above a Notre Dame 1 loss by controlling the bottom. And by maintaining their resume.
So they beat, okay, that's true.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, okay, do you think that, Ole Miss, do you think that Notre Dame bears some responsibility for this for not joining the ACC football?
I mean, I think that's the punitive nature of what's going on. I mean, yeah, I think.
So you think it's punitive?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I think that's what this thing is going to be about. Right. And when we expand, I tell my Notre Dame people this, when we expand to a 12-team playoff, we'll have to have theoretically 3 losses to not make that.
Right.
But we're never going to get no love on the seeding. Watch.
Yeah, but you'll be in.
We'll be in, but it'll be like every year, oh, y'all got Bama in the first round. Oh, y'all got Georgia in the first round. We're never going to get, they've already said that one of the stipulations is we're never getting a bye, which means we'll never get a home game or anything even regionally close to us. But listen, I'm not like most Notre Dame fans. I don't have a problem with getting in the conference, especially the ACC, because we trucked them.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Yeah. And normally that would put you against Clemson.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
I'm saying that's a quality. I mean, if you need something to vault you in,
you have the game in place, 100%. And it would be it's not Clemson's fault that Miami and Florida State haven't been able to get their act together. That league should be better.
Stinks
in theory, but I'd rather see us, if we're gonna go here, I'd rather see us make our own conference, grab Penn State. Get them out the Big Ten.
We're going to create our own shit.
We'll create our own shit. That us. Go get Miami. You know what I mean? Go get, put it together. But,
hey, that might be kind of hot, though.
Yeah.
If you could get Notre Dame, Penn State, Miami, who else?
Pitt
now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You try to get some teams that, got a little bit of name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just try to get the big dog. They have the blue blood pedigree.
Nebraska.
Right. Because if
help them get their act together.
As soon as Miami starts winning again, it's gonna be like, oh, yeah, Miami.
Exactly.
Back, you know.
Exactly.
You know, and that's as opposed to like somebody like Georgia who hasn't won a national championship since 1980.
Yeah.
Like I still think that a team like Miami's brand is still stronger than a Georgia who hasn't won since 1980. Because it's more, to me, it's like this is more like the helmet, the uniform, it's more recent. They have more better brand.
Except this. If y'all take it down this year, that's over.
Yeah.
It's like, because Georgia's been a top 5 program for a long time without the hardware.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you feel as a Georgia fan? What kind of pressure are you feeling right now as you go into SEC championship?
I don't.
Tight?
No. Okay,
you feel good? You tight?
No. I'm more excited than I thought I would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Bama to win the game. I think you give, particularly, we talked about the way Alabama's been playing, and it hasn't been what you normally would see. Well, I guess against. I want to look at this real quick. Obviously against.
Did you watch the Auburn game?
No, I was at the stadium. I mean, I was at my son's basketball game.
They look like crap.
Yes, but just a week ago, 42 points against Arkansas, and the week
that was
before
3 weeks ago, because the week before that they played New Mexico State.
No, they played New Mexico State before.
Auburn.
It's right here. So they played Arkansas a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Okay, New Mexico State came before that. Okay.
Right. So my point is that this is going to be the toughest offense that Georgia has faced by far, and it ain't even close. And I think that Nick Saban is actually a real underdog. He ain't been an underdog in a long time.
Right.
So all you're hearing, like Nick Saban can actually tell his players, turn TV on.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to quiet the noise about how great. Nobody's telling them how great they are. What everybody's saying is trying to give reasons why they need to be out. So that he doesn't have to create any false narratives this week. He doesn't have to try to get anybody's attention. He doesn't have to keep away from the distractions. So you're looking at a guy who has done it before. So his muscle memory is there. The winning is there.
So you think it's all X factors?
Yeah. Well, I think that given the fact that Georgia hasn't had to face an offense like this, and yes, the X factors matter to me in this one, because I think that when you have Nick Saban, who, like I said, he has rarely been in this spot. It's been years since he's been in this spot.
Yeah.
He's not going to have to get his guys' attention. This is going to be the best week. I've been saying for a long time, ever since they lost to Texas A&M, that the week of the SEC championship, that might be the best week of practice preparation that Alabama has had since Nick Saban has been there.
But what y'all going to do?
I think they're going to be
how y'all going to practice?
I think they're going to be locked in too. But you think...
Because they have not faced a defense. If they were having problems with Auburn, and they were...
on the road, in the Iron Bowl...
Well, they coming to Georgia to play.
I'm just saying, they're not coming to Athens, they're coming to Atlanta.
We coming in the state of Georgia.
And a place that they beat us all the time. Like, all the time.
This ain't that.
This is exactly that.
No, this ain't that.
This is the scene of the crime.
No.
This is the opponent.
No.
You know what I'm saying? This is...
No.
Look, like, we scared to point them out in the lineup. Can they see us? Can they,
is that glass?
Yes, can you see through this glass? Okay.
It's him.
Yeah.
Nah, man, listen, I think that, put it this way, y'all got to prove it.
That's what I'm saying. Now, okay, here's the thing. Okay, so let me expound on my point just a little bit further. So I like Alabama money line. It's 6.5. I don't know if the line's moved. I like the Alabama money line, but
they're the dog.
Alabama.
They're a touchdown dog.
Yeah, 6.5.
Wow.
So and like I said, that was.
I like Alabama the number.
Yeah, that
I'll take the number.
Okay, so let me look at it real quick. Just one more. Yeah, it's still 6.5.
Yeah.
I'd
buy it up to 7.
Over under 49. Okay, and so yes, this is not our don't bet invest show, but that's coming. Okay, so for the very same reason though, I would probably take Georgia in the rematch if they met again in the national championship, which could happen if Alabama wins, because everybody been talking about Alabama they don't deserve to be there. So now you get your chance against the number one opponent.
Time out. See, I don't know about this narrative of Alabama don't deserve to be there. I think it comes down to if they lose, they're out. And the chatter I hear is, if they lose, do they still deserve to be in? And then the answer is no. So it's not that they don't deserve to be in with one loss. It's people are saying they don't deserve to be in with two.
Okay. Yeah. And okay. So yes, I've been hearing more of that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So having said that, there won't be a second loss. Is what you're practicing for.
Of course.
It ain't going to be no second loss.
But what y'all practicing for?
We practicing to exercise, vanquish.
And literally put a hole in them so you don't have to face them.
Correct. Yes. And that's what I'm coaching. That's what I want to see.
This is the playoff.
Yeah. Oh.
This is the first week of the playoff.
Yeah. Playoffs. This is it right here for sure. So.
And if you get them out of the tournament, you have to love your chances. Oh. Now looking at Notre Dame as that would be the outside, Oklahoma State or Cincinnati in the 4th spot.
Anybody.
Those are the 4 spots.
Anybody. It could
it's Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, or Cincinnati.
Anybody.
Those are the 3 possibilities.
You get Alabama out, then
you're looking at Michigan potentially if they win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bring on whoever.
Yeah. I mean, put it this way: you guys are without peer after Alabama.
After Alabama, and
in theory,
and to Georgia's credit, right? They've been up by double digits every time they've played Alabama outside of the Mark Richt years.
Yeah.
Actually, they were up double digits because when Alec Ogletree blocked the punt, took it back for a touchdown, that's when I thought we were going to win. We were up, I believe, 11 or 13. I can't remember. It wasn't 12. Anyway, point is, Kirby Smart has had his former mentor, his former employer, his former boss on the ropes every single year that they've met, which I believe was only twice.
Yeah.
Every single year they met twice. Now it's just finishing the drill. It's just finishing the drill. The only difference is that Georgia was the underdog in those 2 games.
Yeah.
Now they're the top dog. So it's a different.
Do you feel like that's gonna feel different for y'all?
I think so. But that's my point. The narratives are different, but you got King Kong, the defending national champion, as the underdog. He's got to love that. He's got to love the fact that he's actually.
Well, I get your point. Your point is well taken on that. That he gets to coach and teach off of that.
You drove that home.
No, you made the point. But in reality, they're not playing great football in November.
They are not. And I think.
So if I'm Georgia, I'm looking at it going, look, let's watch their film. They bleed, Rock. They bleed. That's what I'm saying. This is a team that makes mistakes. This is a team that'll turn the ball over.
He's susceptible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can take him.
Yeah. He's human.
We're gonna switch to southpaw.
Yeah, we're gonna switch it up. Start breaking the rib cage.
No. Oh, he swithed conventional. Then he switched back south.
Then he switched
because Rocky, of course,
was lefty.
Was the left.
Yeah.
He's a left-handed.
We always find a way to get Rocky in.
Hey, this is great.
I love Rocky.
Love Rocky. Rocco!
Way to go, Rocco! Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for you, but he wins again. So let me ask you this real quick before we get out of here. The championship games in college football. You have any predictions? So you've given us one. You like Alabama, so you're going against your team. That's gangster.
Yeah.
What about, do you have a Baylor, Oklahoma State prediction?
With the way that Spencer Sanders is playing, and given the gimpiness of my boy, the Baylor quarterback Bohannon. Is it Bohannon? Bohannon. I like and also Oklahoma State's defense. I think that they match up well with Baylor. I know they got the running back number 7. I believe his last name is Arthur. I think Smith. And Bohannon has shown himself to be a okay passer.
Yeah,
but he hasn't been. He's not proficient. And I know that Oklahoma State, they can run it, especially if Warren's healthy, the running back, and they got a group of receivers, obviously led by my man Tay. Is it Tay Smith? Gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting these guys' names. But anyway, yes, I like Oklahoma State to win that game. I believe they're favored anyway. So let me Let me look at that real quick, just to for. The line is Oklahoma State by 5.5. So yes, I like Oklahoma State. The rest of the games, Cincinnati's favored by 10.5 over Houston.
Yeah,
I like that number for Houston.
Yeah, yeah.
And okay, we got Michigan and
what's the line in Michigan, Iowa?
10.5.
So you think Harbaugh gets it done?
Yeah,
He doesn't do a Harbaugh.
Yeah, well, because I think the Harbaugh moment, right, was Ohio State. That was the moment.
But did they shoot it? They shoot the wide?
Nah, no. I don't think so at all. I think that and not to mention, Iowa don't have nowhere near the offensive power that Ohio State has.
No,
they're not going to be able to put that kind of pressure on them. Now, it may be a 17-10 type of game. It could be,
but I also don't think that Iowa's going to give up 6 or 7 yards on every first down either, like Ohio State did.
They may not,
because I don't care who you are. If you're giving up, if you're playing 2nd and 3 and 3rd and 1 all game, you're going to win. I don't care who you are. Well, I don't care how much you got on offense.
So Iowa. Let's see, Iowa. They've been putting up some points the last couple of games. I mean, that's a good defense. They put up 27 points. Nebraska's okay defense, 28 points. But I think Michigan, with their run game, with those, actually now their third string tailback has come on ever since Blake Corum has been hurt.
Yeah.
He
came back.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now they got 3.
Yeah.
Now they got 3.
Yeah.
Because they
can rotate. Yeah.
Man. So I think that.
And their line played super physical against. They punched Ohio State in the mouth.
So I think that that's just the perfect recipe, particularly for that game, because you have an offense that's not going to be able to put pressure on you.
Right.
Nowhere near. I mean, they don't have Nigba Smith and Chris Olave.
Chris Olave.
Chris Olave.
And Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. They don't. And the tailback, the freshman.
I know Henderson. Yeah.
They ain't got nothing like that.
No, but I think what Iowa could do is drag them in the phone booth and get in the phone booth with them. Whereas I think Ohio State didn't even think that was possible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's styles make fights.
Yeah.
Maybe Iowa can get them in an ugly phone booth match and get a field goal and get out of it.
It would be so Harbaugh if
that would, and I believe Harbaugh gonna do Harbaugh.
So don't bet, invest. Do you have a
This is the worst betting year I've had in my life, so don't listen to me.
We could change it right now.
Tell the people.
You can change it right now.
If I have to make actual predictions with the line, I'm taking Baylor in the number. I'm going Georgia. I think it's Georgia by 2 touchdowns. Whoa. I think it's 31-17. Whoa. Georgia. I think Baylor in a close one.
Then they go hold Mechie and Williams like that. Is it Williams or Williamson?
I think it's Williams.
Williams, okay.
And I think Michigan wins, but not by the you would say 10.5, 11?
10.5. They got 2 10.5 spreads. You got
Michigan wins
Cincinnati.
By a touchdown.
Cincinnati and Michigan are favored by 10.5.
I think Cincinnati turns into a pumpkin. I think they get upset.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting.
I think they get upset.
So we'll
because I think it's the best. I think it would be the absolute best thing for this college football playoff committee to not have to deal with the group of 5. And I just feel like there's something in the air that's going to take care of that for them.
Do you care at all about Pitt and Wake?
I do not.
Okay. The vast majority of people don't. But if you want to see some scoring, turn that game on.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be what's the total in that game? 70, 72?
72.5.
Yep.
Good job there.
Yeah.
72.5. So if you want to see, they got 2 good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Sam Hartman and Pickett. Kenny Pickett. And Pitt's receiver Addison, and Wake Forest, they got Jaquay Roberson and A.T. Perry.
Yeah.
It's gonna be points. If you just want to see
scoring,
like you want to see black calves running in the end zone fast, turn that game.
No, that's what's up. So we got our predictions on that. Do you have any prediction on when we come together next time? Will Notre Dame have a coach, and who will it be?
I think it's gonna be Luke Fickell.
You think they're gonna go outside?
Well, because I think that because it's the same reason that Brian. Yes, well, I would. I said it's gonna be the same reason Brian Kelly left for LSU. I think that's just a bigger, better job, better players.
You think Swarbrick will offer it to him?
I don't know. You would be able to tell me that better than
I'm actually concerned because Fickell's getting more play. I don't love the Fickell play.
Because Brian Kelly going to try to take your man with
he's already been rebuffed.
Really? Mm-hmm. By the defensive coordinator?
And Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator. He's already come at both of them.
Really?
Yeah.
So then
I don't have inside sources, but the people who do have inside sources have said that he's made them super lucrative. It would have made Freeman the highest paid
coordinator. Any coordinator.
But, yeah, in the nation. But I think Freeman's a head coach, whether at Notre Dame or even at a tick down, because there's jobs that are opening that are just a click down.
That's the guy I would take. I mean, if I'm the hiring Notre Dame brass, that's the guy I'm going.
That's the guy I go, because I think he gets us. You give him a premier job for 10 years or as long as he wants to stay there. And then maybe down the line when Ohio State opens up, maybe he wants to go there because he played for Ohio State. He's from Dayton. But outside of that, yeah.
Now I really want him to get the job.
I'm hoping that when we come back together, as Freeman has been announced as a coach, Fickell can stay. He can go. I don't care what Fickell does. I just don't want him in South Bend. And I'm not saying I don't want him in South Bend. I don't want him in South Bend at the expense of Freeman, because if he comes, here's the thing. If Fickell comes, it's a full hard reset.
Yes.
Freeman's out. Recruiting class this year falls apart. Recruiting class next year falls apart. And right now we're top 5 this year and next year.
I also think that if you guys can get that done in the next couple days.
If we get Freeman done, we keep everything right where we at.
But my point is, though, should y'all get into the playoffs, I think
we're not getting in the playoffs.
I think that it won't be as much of a distraction.
No, it'll be a rallying cry.
That's my point. Yeah.
If we happen to get into the playoffs because of chaos,
yes,
and then have named Freeman,
yes,
they're gonna go through a wall. I would be, if I was y'all, I would be very concerned about that team.
I mean, look,
I'm just keeping it a buck. If I have a Notre Dame team that just feels like their coach just left them, and then the coach that they wanted got the job, I'd be worried about that team.
Hey, look,
just on some emotion shit.
Well, of course, but that's my whole narrative basically about Alabama beating Georgia, right?
Yeah, but you're factoring out, in that case, you're factoring out the fact that these guys been kicking sand in your face for years, and this is your chance.
It's been our chance. All the time it's our chance.
Right, but this is the chance. You got him down. You got the bully in the dirt. You got him in the dirt.
He ain't in no daggone dirt. He driving down daggum I-20 East. Yeah,
you got him in the dirt. I think you're underestimating the motivation for Georgia.
What's different about this kind of motivation? Outside of the fact that the big dog is the underdog.
Yeah, but you're using that. You're telling me why they're motivated.
I'm giving that too much credence.
You're giving it you're giving it more credence than we're the dog.
But are we a lead dog? We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. That's the part we're gonna find out. But I'm saying I'm coaching from that place.
Okay.
If I'm coaching.
Well, of course. Well, okay. What Kirby has been talking about is he's been saying, we turned this into Southern
SEC talk. We should get an accent.
Down South Saturday.
Exactly.
Saturdays in the South. What Kirby's been teaching, like, look, hey, we haven't done anything. You know, he's like, our goal has been to win the SEC championship. That don't change. It's Alabama. It's Alabama. If it's Auburn, it's been Auburn.
Right.
He's like, we've accomplished none of our goals yet.
Yeah.
You know, not whatever.
We got the East on lock.
Yeah, we won the East. That was the first goal. The second goal is to win the SEC championship. That we've literally done nothing.
Yeah.
We've literally done nothing. So, and you listen to the players.
Yeah. They
are repeating that mantra. Like, I mean, our goal is to win the SEC championship. So all we've done is put ourselves in a position to do something that we set out to do before. We've done. He's like, we got a good defense and everything we do, but we want to win the SEC championship.
Yeah.
If we win the SEC championship,
then you can move on to the next
we
goal.
can move on to the next thing. And so
I think it's set up for you perfectly.
If you're able to, and then you have some veteran leadership. And Jordan Davis is a veteran. He's been around that program. He's a 3-star guy we recruited.
Yeah.
You know, so you have guys that have been around that have actually lost to Alabama. They've been through this process before. It obviously it helps a lot.
Yeah.
You got Stetson Bennett who lost to Alabama. What was it last year? We were beating Alabama.
Yeah.
Going into the half. So actually, I forgot about that. Yes, last season they actually were in the. You know, they played this beast before. So
right.
Yes, this is a different team. Mm-hmm. Yes. I like Alabama.
I would feel more enthusiastic than you do.
Well, it could just be, PTSD.
Just the beatings. Yeah. The beatings.
Severe.
All right, well, listen, this is a good time to break. We're going to come back. We're going to mark these predictions in. We'll see how we did when we come back.
They recorded on record.
Yes.
They own the record and they own the television, on that camera.
Couple quick things. We'd like you to subscribe and like and take the notifications on our YouTube channel, which is statlinesmatter on YouTube. And you can follow us on our Facebook page, where we're going to have some cool stuff that is going up there, which is also statlinesmatter on Facebook. And you can follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at statlinesmatter, like normal. So we're back, better than ever. This is my partner, Rob Hunter. I'm Mark Stewart, and this is Statlines Matter.
Peace.
Bad boy. I ain't come for games. Say it to my face. Say it to my face. I ain't come for games. Say it to my face. Say it to my face.